Hello everyone.
This is all wet.
In my previous video, I discovered the axle seals were leaking a bit too much to ignore
There's
it.
gear oil leaking out, like a lot of it. Everything down here is wet.
If the inspection mechanic pulled one of the rear drums, which are the easiest to remove, he'll see gear oil on the brake shoes, and that certainly won't pass the safety inspection.
This is a 9/16 socket.
The early 4 to 8 inch rear ends don't have a drain plug. The center section actually has to be removed just to change the gear oil. So as long as I had to pull the axles to replace those seals, I thought this would be a good time to change the gear oil.
It's almost there.
You've seen brake drums removed before, so let's start with pulling the axles.
This is the only slide hammer I have. So I made this for it years ago. It's a bolt with a nut that's welded to the end, and I ground it down a little. Fits on the end of the slide hammer like this. Now we'll see if this works. Seems to be coming. Now I'm going to try a little knocker loose back there. See if that helps. Yeah, it's coming a little bit at a time. Pulled out more than a 1/4 inch. I'd say maybe 3/8 right now. It looks like I've actually moved it. It's out, sticking out anyway. The bearing is protruding past the backing plate about a 1/4 inch, maybe slightly more.
I have to admit, that thing kicked my butt. So I stopped in at Harbor Freight and picked up their 9-way slide hammer set with a 5-pound hammer.
There's no replacement for the right tool. I think the other one would have worked on this one.
The axles and the inside of the axle housing are layered with a thick, sticky tar-like coating that comes from very old gear oil that should have been flushed decades ago. I'm spraying it down with brake cleaner, which is a pretty good grease cutter. But it turns out brake cleaner isn't the best at dissolving this old tar. There's still a coat of tar-like baked on antique gear oil on the axles after trying to clean them with brake clean.
It's absolutely sticky.
I had to hit them again with a fresh can of brake cleaner.
So there's a bearing retainer ring on right here. That's what it looks like. And the way to remove those is to smack it with a hammer in several places.
The axle bearings are pressed onto the hubs, followed by a pressed on collar. Removing the bearing begins with removing the collar.
So after you hit it with the hammer in a few places, it'll loosen up. On this one, I beat the heck out of it in 3 places. So I'm going to give this one a couple more hits in this spot, and then I'll rotate the axle.
The collar is a relatively softer steel that can easily be deformed by hitting it with a cold chisel. Chisel into the collar in 3 or 4 locations, and it becomes loose enough to remove from the axle.
These retaining rings are clearly not hardened. And that's actually split there, so they're pretty soft. They're not that hard to remove. I just don't want to hit the actual axle itself. Gonna have to sharpen this chisel in a minute. Okay, it's turning. Yeah, I'm able to turn it, twist it, and it's coming off. it is. Okay, so here's my setup. I have a couple, this is a 4x6, this is a 4x4. That puts this up, that raises everything above the bed 3.5 inches. 3.5 inches. Then these press plates are across here supporting the bearing, and I have that bearing retainer plate on top of them because it won't fit between. I'm hoping I don't damage that press or that retaining plate, that bearing plate, because, well, then I'll have to get new ones. Because of the diameter of the axle hub there, the axle flange, these blocks don't get close together. They don't get as close as I'd like them to be, and the span of these press plates is like only a 1/4 inch over on each block, each wooden block. So I'm not trusting that completely, obviously. So I put a piece of 1/4 inch steel here to support that side, and it's clamped to the block and actually to the underside of the bed frame here. That's all clamped together. The same with the back one. And I did the same thing on this side. So that gives a lot more firm support to those plates where it's needed. So I'm ready to give this a try now. And let's see what happens. I'm wearing ear protection and eye protection, and I'm standing behind this 3/4 inch plywood just in case something lets loose. Okay, everything's in position. Ready to go. Three pumps, 4, 5. After 5 pumps like that, it broke loose. That's awesome. Now I just have to keep going. I need to be aware of my clearance under here to make sure that flange, the lug bolts sticking out of the flange aren't going to hit the top of the bed. Right now I still have about 1 inch of clearance, but I probably need more than that. So I'm going to end up raising these blocks up. I'm going to put bigger blocks in once they get as far as I can go with this. So here we go. Now it's an easy press. It's just sliding. Once you break it loose, and this worked very well. This was the best setup I found in my situation here, working with what I have on hand. There's still 1/2 inch there to go. Whoa, dropped right out. That's awesome. And that bearing's out. And this one doesn't feel so good. The other one I probably could have kept. It didn't need to be replaced, really, I can tell. And that other bearing also said on it FOMO Co. Yeah, that's FOMO Co. So these are probably original bearings. This one's a little loose and a little bit dry, I would say. this wasn't damaged. I'll be able to reuse it. I've got to clean it up, of course. But that's that. Oh, I did knock one lug nut loose, one lug loose. Oh well. I'll have to put it back in. No big deal. Other than that, I've just got to clean this up and it's ready to press a new bearing on. And here's a better look at that setup. So I would really love to have a perfectly sized steel plate to support this bearing evenly all the way across. As it is, I simply supported it by putting the axle between these two V-cuts in the press plates. And you can see the markings here on the press plates actually do align with the center race of the bearing. The outer race appears not to have touched, so that's good. So what I did though, out of curiosity, is I measured the thickness of the bearing, the outer race and the inner race. And the inner race is actually 2 or 3 thousandths smaller than the outer race, so you would think there'd be more pressure on it. But I noticed there's actually, you can't see it, but I can feel there's probably at least 5 thousandths, 6 thousandths of play back and forth, so that when all that pressure is on the inner race, the outer race really isn't under pressure at all. Like here, it's not even hitting. So I think that's okay. So I did end up buying a new bearing retainer plate here, axle retainer. And I pull these, I push this one in and pull this one out. That way I know there's no play, that this is fully supported. And that, let's see, let me see if I check this now. Yeah, and the outer race doesn't have pressure on it. Okay, and I use this 4-wheel drive socket for locking hubs, because it I used this on the last axle and it worked out great, so I'll use it on this one. What's weird is that this press table rocks back and forth. The holes aren't even, they're not straight across in the uprights. So I'm just rocking it this way. Should be one side or the other. I don't want it dancing around. And this needs to go in slightly. That should do it. So everything looks good. Time to commence pressing. still got 5/8 of an inch to go. Based on what I saw in some of the other bearing pressing videos on YouTube, this takes about 5,000 pounds of force to press these bearings on. This is a 20-ton press, so 5,000 pounds is nothing, 2.5 tons. Okay, almost there, about 1/8 of an inch. We'll hear it when it hits and stops moving. Oh, did you hear that? That last pop? That was it. It's all the way down. And now that this is all the way in, and we probably have 5,000 pounds of pressure. Well, there is pressure on that outer race. Okay. So that's not great, but I don't think it's doing any harm either. And now there's no pressure on the outer race.
I've seen videos where the collar is pressed on along with the bearing. That would eliminate the question of pressure on the outer race, so it's probably a better way to do this.
So now that we're doing that bearing retainer ring, we know there's no pressure on the bearing at all. It's all on that ring. And when it hits bottom, again, we'll hear that final pop sound. We'll know it's seated. Get that centered up. And here we go, pressing. It's going just fine. That feels like it hit bottom. Yeah, it's seated all the way down. I'll just give it a partial another pump just to make sure. Oh yeah, that's tight. I mean, the bearing feels fine. I don't think it was harmed in any way by that. This axle is ready to be installed.
The transmission is in gear. That prevents the drive shaft from turning when you're loosening the U-joint U-bolt nuts. I put the transmission in neutral to allow turning the drive shaft. It's back in first gear. The drive shaft drive yoke slips right out of the transmission tail housing. I put the pan under it to catch any gear oil that might leak out. There are 10 nutted studs that hold the differential carrier in place. I'm using a 1/2-inch drive, 6-point impact socket. I tried using a 1/2-inch drive flex joint. It held up fine and actually worked perfectly. The removable carrier has a built-in tab that can be chiseled and pried on to break it loose from the axle housing. It's starting to drip into the pan. Those home center mortar mixing pans do a great job of preventing spills, overflows, and tip overs. A transmission jack might have worked better, but all I have is a floor jack. And it isn't high enough, so I used a 4x6 block of wood on top of it. This isn't the best, but it worked. It balances, precariously at best. In hindsight, I should have bolted the wood block to the top of the jack.
It actually looks pretty clean in there. I wouldn't have had to do this if this had a drain plug on it. The oil's very dirty. It's been ages since this has been cleaned, obviously. This stuff is sticky and black and obviously very dirty and hasn't been changed in a long time. And there's grit. There's metal grit in the bottom of the housing here. I actually took a quick look at the ring gear and the differential, and that thing's got some broken teeth. There's chips off the one end of the teeth, the outer edge of the teeth. Two of them I saw. I'll have to have another, a closer look. But I don't think I'm going to be running this particular carrier anymore. At least not with these gears. It's more unplanned work and more expense that I wasn't really planning on right now. This is as clean as I'm going to get it in here for now. I'm going to be rinsing the whole axle tubes and everything. Probably spraying it from the outside end and spray toward the middle. And it'll be most likely brake cleaner.
Uh-oh, I found a ring gear tooth with the top quarter broken off. And there's another one. It's not quite as bad, but it's broken.
The broken tooth right there.
There it is.
I think the camera should be able to see it. And there's another one right there.
I had a rear end change on my long-term list, but this is pushing me to do it now. My heart's not broken over this, but I don't want to do it again if I can help it. So I'm doing the ultimate upgrade now rather than later. I ordered a brand new third member assembly from Quick Performance. It came well packaged and in less than a week. This is a complete differential carrier assembly. It weighs around 65 pounds.
The bottom of that bucket's already blown out, I think.
It's brand new, not rebuilt. It has a nodular iron carrier. That's something I've only ever heard of on Ford 9-inch rear ends for big block cars. This will make it extra tough. It's also posi traction, like the Ford Limited slip differential I pulled out of the car. It's a 340 to 1 gear ratio. I didn't want to go too crazy because I want good drivability, including highway driving. Many people want a Ford 9-inch rear end, including GM guys for racetrack use. But a 9-inch rear end is heavier and uses up more horsepower just to drive it than an 8-inch. This extra strong 8-inch third member assembly is plenty strong for my planned less than 300 horsepower 289.
Right here it says nodular iron. You can see the 340 right here. F8 340. I assume 4 to 8 inch. 340 to 1. Oh yeah, look at this. There's plastic all over it here. In here. From inside the plastic bucket.
I tried cleaning the inside of the axle housing with brake cleaner. I ended up spraying 2 cans of brake cleaner inside and tried swabbing the inside walls of the axle tubes with rags on a stick. That dried on tar-like coating on the inside wasn't dissolved with brake cleaner. The results were unimpressive. I knew brake cleaner wasn't working, so I had to figure out something else that might cut through those old dead dinosaurs that are stuck to the inside of the axle tubes.
Man, that stuff is like tar in there. It's going to take a lot of cleaning. It's going to take a lot of work to clean that out.
So this had a lining of black sticky tar that had built up over 59 years of this car's life. It was so hardened and dense that brake cleaner wouldn't dissolve it. Then I realized it's petroleum-based, so another petroleum-based solvent should work better. I know from experience that no household solvent dissolves tar better than gasoline. But I'm not about to spray something so volatile inside the axle housing with a spray bottle. I don't need a random spark touching it off. Then I realized that kerosene is petroleum-based, at a less refined and less volatile level than both gasoline and brake cleaner. So I'm giving it a try.
And I put some kerosene in a spray bottle and just sprayed it in there, and you can see it coming out through the opening and where where the carrier is missing. There's that big hole in the middle. So the spray definitely hits the pipe, the axle housing all the way through. And I found this brush, which is 1.5 inches, that fits perfectly. And just going back and forth in there a few times, spraying it, and it's cleaning out. It's cleaning right out. You see that? It's made a mess on the floor.
Kerosene is a very effective cleaner for this application, and is pretty safe. I use a plastic brush that won't create a spark.
Now this won't reach all the way, so let's see. It reaches almost all the way into the pumpkin. Very close. So that's good. Like this, the end of that brush is peeking into the inside of that pumpkin like that. So yep. This whole housing is getting cleaned out. The axle housing. And of course I have to do it on the other side, and then in the middle. But look at this. Let's see. Watch this. Comes out wet, clear kerosene. Clean as can be. It's bare metal, clean as can be in there. So this is working perfectly for cleaning out the inside of that axle tube. I've got to go around and do the other side next, but I want to make sure I get this side all rinsed out. Getting better. Clean as can be. So that first rag I pushed in there, the first one of these blue towels, I saw it drop down inside the pumpkin, so it's not stuck in there. Yeah, there's the next one in there. I don't know if the camera sees it. But it looks very clean in there.
I cleaned the center housing out by hand.
I just shoved a little hair dryer in there to help dry it out extra quick. I cleaned all these surfaces with brake cleaner, and now I'm going to put the gear oil gasket maker on, Permatex. Needs like a 1/4 inch bead all the way around, plus around all the studs, all the way around the studs. I'd rather have too much than too little. And I hope I have enough. It looks like I have plenty. Oh great, I stuck my arm in it. Stuff doesn't squeeze out too easy, really. Just putting some more in the spots that were a little light. You can send that back nice and easy, make sure it doesn't fall over. Oh, I'm going to have to move this pad here. You can go around and get under. Oh. Trying not to hit the camera with the jack. I hit something there when I was on the way up. I hope I didn't get any glue on it. No. If you if you look at that ring gear on the,
Now you're pushing up against this.
yeah, if you look at this ring gear here, is it going to clear if I push it back a little?
Yeah. Oh, clear?
Oh, now it hit.
Alright, it should.
Now it's hitting, right?
Up there, yeah. Maybe we lean it back this way a bit.
Okay, let's see. We'll have to let it down a little. Is that it?
Yeah. Oh. Now it's hitting up there.
Is it going in though?
Can't really tell from this angle.
Okay, yeah, it's kind of. Oh, shoot. Is it clearing?
Yeah. There's something up there. There we go.
A little higher.
Yeah, higher.
Higher still. Now let me. Oh. Can you push the jack back a little bit straight back? No. Now. Okay. It's got to come over this way. Can you push this over this way?
This,
No, this. Like
on the block?
yeah, slide it across the block. It's not going to do it now. All right. These top ones are kind of started.
Yep. Oh yeah, they're very good.
Okay, so let it down very slowly, just a little bit. It's not going.
Trying to do it as slowly as possible. I know, hang on.
Come on.
This is a precarious angle.
Do it with two hands.
It went down.
All right.
You want me to continue?
Tighten it. Will it come back more?
Up?
Back. Toward the back of the car. Oh, you're not even holding it.
Yeah.
All right, bring it up a little. Okay, that's good. Hold it. It should come in.
Oh, nice.
Almost nice. Let the jack down a little. There's some holes up here. Oh, there's one. All right, I think get the jack out of the way. Pull it out that way. There, and leave that. Come here. Here, hand me these one at a time. The little copper washers. Let me get a couple nuts started so this thing doesn't fall out. Try to get one on the top up here. The thing's in. Good. So the instructions on this Permatex silicone say to tighten it down by hand. Not all the way, but basically I'm going to tighten it down with a 3/8 drive ratchet so that I don't over tighten it. You want the silicone to make contact and kind of take shape but not be squeezed tight. And then after an hour you torque it down. Yeah, I don't know if I could have just taken it over here and swung it up and bench pressed it up. It's too awkward of a position. But once it was up there, I could get under it and push it. All right, well, kind of scary. I'll turn this back to 30. So I believe the spec is 30 to 40 foot-pounds. I was going to do 35. I just did 30. I think I'll bring everything up to, I'm going to try 34, see how that feels.
The front U-joint yoke slides into the transmission tail shaft spline.
So as long as I had this out, this U-joint came apart. I removed the bearing caps from it, removed all the rollers out of the bearing caps, cleaned everything and re-greased them and repacked those little rollers into the bearing caps. After everything was assembled, it happens that this U-joint has a grease fitting on it, so I greased it. So this thing has been maintained, I'll say. At some point the U-joints will need to be replaced, but they both feel good right now. Cleaning off all those surfaces in there. The seal is going in here and the bearing's going in here. I'm going to put just a little bit of this gearbox gear oil RTV on that back edge there. That's that back edge, kind of the little shoulder where when the seal is all the way in, when it's driven all the way in, it hits that. It seats against that on the back, on its back side.
I didn't get a chance to pick up a seal installation tool. I'm sure they're helpful, but the reality is I've always done it this way and never had a problem, so I line them up in place and tap them in as evenly and gently as I can. I want the seal to go in as straight as I can get it, and I try not to hit it so hard that it distorts the lip seal or its body.
This is just a very blunt chisel. It's like almost a 1/4 inch wide blunt face on it. Just going to use this to tap that seal in. A little tricky to get it started. If you hit one side, it wants to pop out the other. I thought about getting one of those seal installation kits, but I haven't had a chance. And I've always done it this way, so it should work.
Tap around the edge of the seal, moving the punch around its outer diameter as you tap. Drive it in small increments by hitting it a couple times in each position. This seal is a tight fit. It's taking a little more force than usual.
Yep, it's very well started at this point.
I'm careful not to dent its metal frame.
Just gradually work my way around, hitting on the outside edge of the seal, not the inner or the center, because they can bend and distort. how that sounds? Solid. It hit the bottom. Flat on the bottom now. And hardly distorted at all. So just a thin film of wheel bearing grease inside this bore where the wheel bearing or the axle bearing is. Just so it's not sliding in dry. And this is what it says in the Ford manual. So I'm just applying a bit of gear oil. Just applying a coat of gear oil to the axle and especially the splines. Just a thin coat. That way when I slide it in past that seal, it doesn't hit it dry. And of course, you want to wet that seal with gear oil as well. Make sure everything slides together nice and smooth and it's not rubbing dry on anything. More oil on this axle shaft, can't hurt. And the whole thing's got a nice coat of oil on it now, and especially that sealing surface where the seal is going to ride on. So of course there's a gasket between the backer plate and the axle flange. Then there's going to be another gasket here between the bearing flange plate and the backer plate. Okay, here we go. So nice and easy, gentle. You don't want to damage that seal, for one. Don't want to damage anything. Nice and easy. There it has engaged the splines in the carrier there, in the differential. Just give it a little tap here to see if it'll get in there. I think what happens is that backer plate, the idea on that hole gets a little smaller when you paint it. I put several coats of paint on it so the bearing doesn't want to just slide right through. So I'm going to coax it a little. It's going. Make sure all my bolts to make sure all my bolts are still projecting through, and they are. Okay, all the bolts are sticking through the holes there. That plate is all the way flat against the gasket, against the backer plate. So I think maybe the bearing's all the way in. Not sure that's started on there straight. Yeah, it is. Still not even close to being all the way down. Put a couple more nuts in here. And that one started easy. I probably should have bought new T-bolts. The threads are pretty old. And they're acting like they're pretty old and difficult to work with. I put a drop of oil on those threads because this was just ridiculous. Okay, that's snug. It's pretty stiff. There's already oil on these threads. Okay, so I'll start here with torquing it to, it's 30 to 40, so I'm going to go 34. Click 3 times. That's it. All torqued in. Axle's all installed. The brakes are all installed. Ready for the brake drums and to adjust the brakes and then bleed the brakes.
But I'm not including the brake work in this video. It's long enough. The brake work is in another video. I'd already pumped almost 2 quarts of gear oil by this point. Quick Performance specifies 80W90 non-synthetic gear oil. They say to add a friction modifier for the posi traction unit. But the oil I'm using comes with friction modifier already in it, so that's one less thing I need to do.
Let's see. Well, it looks like it must be full the way it's dripping out there. Oh yeah, it's right up to the hole. Alright. I'm actually going to put some Teflon tape on this plug because didn't seem very good. Didn't seem to fit very tightly in those threads. Yeah, it's full. Okay.
There's a break-in procedure for the new rear end. I couldn't do it until all the other work was completed and the car was legally on the road, which didn't happen for 3 weeks after the quick performance carrier was installed. The break-in called for 5 heat and cool cycles. I drove the car for 15 minutes, then let it sit for 45 minutes 5 times. I had to drive it gently during the break-in, but this old 3-speed transmission and clattering 289 are telling me I need to drive it gently for now anyway. Thank you for watching. Please take a moment to like and subscribe.